What is up, guys? It's Michael Tender from Absolutely Arbitrary, and what you are watching is the second half of a match in Gears of War 3. It's a team deathmatch, and the reason why it's only the second half is because I came in right at the end of the first match, and then I died, and it wasn't really interesting to watch. So I'm just going to show you guys the second match where I did fairly well, in my opinion. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that happened to me on Friday, I believe. Yes, Friday. Is that while I was in my multimedia technology class, my teacher had brought up the subject that she had an extra copy of Adobe Premiere Pro CS4 that she had no use for because all the computers at the school were currently equipped with that software, and she had her own software at her house, and she had asked the class if anybody was available to use this software and make use of this software, because then she would just kind of like draw tickets out of a hat, and whoever got picked kind of got the software. So I was like, yeah, Premiere Pro CS4, I'm working with like, you know, Sony Vegas Platinum. It's like, yeah, I could definitely use that. This is, you know, this is good software. And at the time, I had figured that it would be compatible with Windows because I work with Windows. And later on, found out that it's only Mac-based. That this version is only Mac-based. I know they do sell Windows compatible versions of it. So in class, I was like, yeah, I could use it. And two other kids said that they could also use it because they also had interest in gaining that software privilege. So what we did was we kind of just, she had raffle tickets, and she tore 3 of them off. And the first time, we all got a ticket, and she passed them out and whatnot, and then she drew a ticket, and all the numbers in the ticket were the same, except for the very last number, so we figured off just call the last number off. And she had called a 6. And now I had a 5 on my ticket, and my friend had a 7 on his ticket, so I'd figured that it had to be the third person. And it ended up being, I was like, oh, so you want it, you know, it's not mine, it's not his, it must be yours. And she was like, no, I have a 5 on mine. And I was like, well, I also have a 5 on mine. Turns out that the teacher actually gave both of the 5s to one of us, or 2 of us actually, and she threw both of the 6s inside the hat. So really, the only person that would have able to have received the software would have been my friend with the 7 at the end of his ticket. So if he had gotten called, yes, he would have won it, but technically it would have been unfair anyways. But in that case, nobody won it because it was a 6. So what we had done was we just kind of gave her a card with the 6, and we threw the other 5 inside the hat, and we drew again. And the second time around, I got my ticket called. And you know, it's like I kind of felt bad because like originally I think my teacher was just gonna give it to her, the software to her, and then she had brought it up to the class to see if anybody else had interest in it. So I think she would have won it, and her ticket originally got called too, so that's 2 kind of strikes that she should have gotten the software, but on the third time that I won the software from the drawing. But I later found out that she doesn't even own a Mac, so she has no actual use for it. But then on the same hand, that my friend didn't have a Mac, and I don't have a Mac. Well, actually, my friend, his brother has a Mac, so I think he has accessibility to a Mac, but I don't have a Mac either. So I was like, alright, I won, I'm gonna keep it and whatnot, and I figured, you know, I'll make some kind of use out of it. So my original idea was, you know, I knew the software was pricey, or it was pricey when it was new. I looked it up. When it was new, when CS4 was the new and you know, the current product, it runs for about $750. But now that it's old, Amazon says it runs for about $480. But I've also seen prices as low as $350. So I was like, alright, so one of my options is to sell the product, and then whatever money I received from that selling, that I would put that into whatever other software or any kind of equipment that I could use otherwise. But what happened is that I got home, and I had told my dad about it because I thought it was a pretty cool event in my life that I won something of this kind of value. And he's like, alright, well, your first option is to I was like, that's my first option, is to obtain a Mac computer. And then he's like, the second option is to sell it if you have no use for it. And we ended up talking this through for like probably about an hour, and he was pretty serious about like me getting a Mac. Like, I currently don't have the money for it, and there's really not a lot of extra money being thrown around right now because like just recently our water heater broke, so we went out to buy a new one because I got my cousin in here and he's an electrician, and he said, you know, it was the electricity was going through fine, and it was probably just the water heater. So we bought a new water heater, which was like, I don't know, $200, $300, to find out that once we had set that up, that it actually was the electricity part of it. There was like a little, like a short fuse or something like that, and it was literally an $8 fix that we could have done from the start. But now we have a brand spanking new water heater that we couldn't return. So, you know, a lot of the extra money that is around here is going to things like that, like important things that, you know, need to keep this thing running. But you know, so as far as, you know, getting $1,000+ for a new Mac computer, that's highly unlikely for me to obtain. But just recently, I am kind of I wouldn't say freelance working. I mean, it kind of is freelance working, but I'm doing a sort of a job for this professional photographer and transferring photos from his website to his Flickr account, and I'm getting some money out of that. And I'm also going to take up a job with my local soccer team, and the girls team wants me to do the post-production editing for their like videos and pictures and stuff like that. So like when they have their banquet at the end of the season and kind of share all those memories, they want me to put together that. And they had said I don't know, they mentioned that there'd be some kind of sum. I'm not really worried about it. I usually just tell people, you know, whatever you feel is necessary, you know, whatever you feel like you should be giving me, I'll gladly take that. I'm really not looking forward to you know, a lot of money. I'm doing you guys a favor, and whatever you guys feel is necessary, I'll accept gladly. So, you know, I'm doing all these little odd jobs, and from here I'm looking to get, you know, my name out there, and my teachers always have offers like this to come in. So I'm going to be doing a lot of competitions and a lot of, you know, film competitions and whatnot, just to see what I can obtain through the time, so that I can actually work my way through. Because my plan right now is I actually want to get a Mac. I want to get a Mac for college, and my original idea was like, there is a local law office, a lawyer, and he holds a competition once a year, and the winner of it gets a MacBook Pro, and then the second prize gets like an iPad, whatever. But that's not the important part. The important part is that the winner gets a MacBook Pro, and I've seen some of the winnings from that contest, and you know, not to say that they didn't deserve it, but I feel like I could do better, because a lot of them are like pictures or whatnot. They're very basic. It looks like they're hand drawn and whatnot. With me using technology, I could make I kind of want to make like a professionally looking commercial that kind of gets the point across, but still keeps it as like a kid made this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with my technology, I have the capability of making something that's really awesome. And so I kind of was at the point I was dependent on winning that in order to get a MacBook Pro for college. But now that I have this other opportunity, my dad told me that if I obtain a good amount of the chunk of money that would be needed to get a MacBook Pro, that he would pitch in and help out. And then if I get, you know, if I kind of pull in everybody's money for Christmas gifts, I could probably just more or less obtain a MacBook for Christmas, which is not a bad idea, because I have Adobe Premiere Pro CS4, and yes, this is currently an outdated program, but it still has a lot to offer. And not only that, but the upgrade to CS 5.5 is only $300, which I know is like, yeah, that's still $300, but it's a lot less than $800 to buy the program, you know, fresh. So to upgrade is a lot cheaper, and now that I have one license, I can currently just continue upgrading throughout the years, and it's going to cost me a lot less in the long run. So my goal right now is to obtain a MacBook Pro. And I was also thinking, like, yeah, I could get an iMac or an iMac Pro or whatever they're called, the desktop version of Macs, and then it runs roughly about the same amount for a MacBook Pro, or just a MacBook in general. They run about the same price. But the only thing is that it would be a desktop, but they have about the same power, and that's kind of funny to think about, but they do. And except when you get the iMac Pros, those roughly, I think they start at like $2,400, and those are a lot more powerful because yes, they're desktops, they have a lot more to offer. But if I was to get, you know, I'm only looking for something that's like just over $1,000, because I really don't have that kind of money. If I had that opportunity, I would gladly take it. But right now I'm just looking to obtain a Mac so that I can have use of this software, because it's probably better. It definitely is better than, I think, than Sony Vegas. It has a lot more to offer, but it's a lot more generally used within the industry. You know, I feel like Adobe programs are a lot used a lot more than something like Sony Vegas. So I want to kind of get that familiarity with both Mac programs and Windows programs, so I have that flexibility to do whatever I want if the case calls for it. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting a MacBook Pro. That is my goal. That is a goal that I'm going to work for. This is going to be tough though, because I have, you know, I like to go out for like Chinese Wednesdays, which is like when the Chinese restaurants have discounts in my city. There's no Chinese Wednesday, like it's not like a national thing, but you know, it's and I like to do little things like that, like small concerts and stuff like that around my town, where it's just like that money piles up. But from here to Christmas, I'm looking to spend absolutely no side money, except for like maybe a little bit here and there. But overall, I want to save to get a MacBook Pro, and then if I win the competition and get a second MacBook Pro, you know, more power to me, you know what I mean? I'll have one for schoolwork and whatnot, and I'll have one for myself, and I can keep that separated in case one goes down the drain and the other one doesn't. But that is my goal, guys, and it's kind of weird because I had meant this to be like 4 minutes, and it actually turns out to be like an 11-minute conversation, so I'm going to have to find a video to actually match the commentary and not the other way around. But that is my plan, guys. I do want a MacBook Pro, and I don't know why I felt like telling you this, but I thought it was a really cool thing that I got this program for free from my school. It, you know, it turned out to be Mac-based only, but that is turning this into a giant opportunity for me that I probably would not have thought of otherwise. And then the fact that I have all these opportunities with the jobs are only pulling this together. So I think this is a really great opportunity for me, and I really don't want to pass up on this opportunity. So I'm going to really work hard to get this MacBook Pro, or just MacBook or whatever. I just want a Mac that I can use and make, you know, I want to take advantage of this opportunity and use this software for full potential, and then, you know, upgrade later down the line and whatnot, and actually, you know, have something come out of this. But thank you guys for watching this. Rate, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think about this. Actually, probably not. You guys don't even have to comment on it. It's just really like, just as long as you listen, I'm appreciative. But, you know, I'll piece things together. I'll put little matches together. It'll come out to be about 11.5 minutes. But thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And take it easy, guys. Have a nice day.